Hello. So this week I'm going to talk about what I learned. So this is my failed attempt at Angular 4 week. I wanted to learn Angular 4. There was, I knew Angular 1, but my knowledge of that started deteriorating. So I thought, okay, let's go ahead and start something new. So usually I included Angular 4. Usually with Angular 1, I just include Angular 1 through the asset pipeline. You really don't need to do that anymore. You have this gem called Webpack on Rails, and it basically makes like a separate asset pipeline that you can use just for your JavaScript frameworks. It'll work with Angular, React, Vue.js. It's pretty cool. I'd suggest checking it out. GoRails.com has a really good one on Vue.js. Um, so, uh, just to dive into Angular 4 specifics, it's meant for enterprise level applications. It's recommended to use TypeScript instead of JavaScript. That's how it was intended. That's how the creators of Angular 4 intended uh, Angular 4 to be used with TypeScript. TypeScript, it does compile into JavaScript, but the two biggest differences are, excuse me, static typing and classes and modules. Classes and modules make your code module. I'm sorry about that. Give me a second. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So, anyways, TypeScript has static typing. So when you declare a variable, you have to declare if it's an integer, a boolean, or a string ahead of time. Makes things less complicated. This is something you'll see with Java and C Sharp. And then classes and modules make the code. It makes it your code like small compartments. Those compartments can be reused and they're easily tested. Um, and Angular was meant to be like its own web framework. It's got its own MVC architecture. It's got its own assets, its own routing, its own CSS assets. So what you could do is have a front end Angular web application, and you could have a back end uh, API only Rails application. And all that Rails application is going to do is feed JSON to your Angular application. And that's kind of how Angular was meant to work. And you could definitely do that. And it makes it a lot easier for, a front end team to just focus on the Angular app and a back end team focusing on just making APIs. Um, so again, cutting it up into pieces, that's basically how Angular 4 does it. So I did this quick start application on Angular 4's website, and it kind of gave you a good idea of what Angular 4 is supposed to do. But I got really confused because like of this whole TypeScript um, deal. Like it was good to get started, but like in depth, you really need to spend more time learning how it works. So my goals for next week. I talked to this really awesome programmer. He's from 4C, sorry, 4C, and he recommended just these two things to me. Practice algorithms and data structures. Boot campers don't really do this all too much. So anyone that can really understand like um, linked lists and balancing a binary tree, anyone that can do that really stands out. And then build small complete projects. That's what he did, and that's what landed him a job. And he recommended someone for who doesn't have like a computer science degree. He recommended him to do that. So yeah. Um, and just one other thing I'm kind of thinking about. Um, as of right now, I plan to go deep into Rails and Vue.js, but kind of in the back of my mind, I got this itch to do like mobile development using Xamarin and C Sharp. There's a lot of companies in Chicago that use C Sharp, and I was thinking, okay, I don't necessarily want to do like .NET, but if I could do like Xamarin, that kind of satisfies that C Sharp need, and it kind of bridges the gap between Android and iOS, and kind of makes me different from all the other people who are just like Rails developers. Um, so this is just something I plan on doing. It's not something official, but I want to do it. Um, Maybe not now, but I'm thinking about it. I'm talking to like former instructors and just getting their opinion about it. So that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. I hope you all have a nice week. I'm looking forward to having another video next week. Have a good one.